have finally done the unthinkable. I have switched from my Pixel 8 that I had been dailying for about 2 months now to the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and all of this is part of an experiment where I want to see that what happens when a high-end Android user switches to an iOS device for the first time. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel, press on the bell icon so you don't miss on any future updates, and with that said, let's get started. First thing I want to talk about is titanium. Is it a design marvel that Apple is marketing it as, or is it just a marketing gimmick? See, what a lot of people are not telling you is that the titanium is only on the side rails of the phone and not on the back. Because of the titanium material, the Pro Max has definitely gotten lighter compared to the other Pro Maxes previously launched, but as far as the durability question is concerned, I don't think it's going to be all that more durable, at least when you drop it on the back, because the back is still glass. The second key takeaway is the display. Now, the display on this phone coming from the Pixel 8 just seems bigger, brighter, and better. So the 15 Pro Max has a brilliant 6.7-inch display with a 120Hz refresh rate, which Apple calls ProMotion, and truly the display is one of the best ones that I have seen on a smartphone, second to only the S23 Ultra. But even then, when I see the big picture and I see that Apple is selling phones for 80K, 90K and not giving even 90Hz displays on them is really a deal breaker. The ProMotion is definitely not a pro only feature, and everybody deserves to have a high refresh rate display. So I think that even though the display on this is really good, this kind of technology, the high refresh rate, should be throughout the new iPhone lineup, whether it is the normal ones or the Pro ones. But yeah, if we're talking about strictly the display on this, the bezels are also slimmed down and you really have to hold the phone in your hand to feel the difference in change, and it looks really nice and symmetrical if you can ignore the dynamic island, which has now become similar and synonymous with the Apple brand itself. Of course, the next takeaway is going to be the big reveal that Apple had to do because of the European Union, and that is the Type-C port. Yes, this year's iPhone 15 lineup has the Type-C port, but the one on the Pro is faster and it is a little bit different. Now, this is USB 3.2, which is incredible for transferring high data files, and you can connect SSDs and other storage devices to it to transfer videos, photos, documents, and all that jazz. Now, I would have loved to see fast charging now that you have USB Type-C, but unfortunately, that is something that we still don't get to see even in the Pro iPhones this year. But at least you can plug in SSDs and hard disks and transfer documents, files, and all that jazz. Now, speaking of documents and files, let me take a quick minute to talk about today's video sponsor, that is UPDF. Today's video is brought to you by UPDF, an AI integrated PDF editor that will let you make all kinds of changes to your PDF files with ease. So if you're looking for a PDF editor, UPDF is something that you can definitely consider. Now, UPDF has a lot of cool features. As you guys can see, once you open up a PDF file, you can not only view it in reader mode, but you can go to the edit PDF mode and literally edit anything. Whether it is simple text that will let you just replace the text that is there or delete it entirely, or pictures where you can extract the image as well as replace the image and make all kinds of changes, as well as add text by yourself and go ahead and add an image by yourself as well, including a link if you want to. There's also a very nice prepared form as well as redact feature that allows you to permanently black out and remove sensitive content. You can also secure your files by adding passwords to them, so you can do that when you go to protect using password in the file settings and go to document open or security properties. And of course, you can use one account for all platforms. So you can essentially buy one license and use UPDF on Mac, iOS, Android, as well as Windows. It's got a very nice and clean UI that I think looks really good, and couple that with the cool AI features where it gives you summarization by itself along with a chat box where you can ask questions. That makes UPDF an incredibly versatile PDF editor. UPDF is a great Adobe alternative alternative and it is much cheaper than Adobe, so be sure to check it out from the links in the description below. Okay, now that we're back, let me talk about the fourth takeaway, and of course this is again something that was new this year, which is the fact that the mute slider is now gone and you get a brand new action button only on the Pro iPhones. Now, I have mixed feelings about this. Since this is an impressions video, I really tried my best to use the action button different ways, the way I could have customized it. And while the menu to configure it is kind of cool looking with the animations and stuff, the fact of the matter is 90% of the people are gonna map it to something really simple, even an enthusiast like me. Like, I have set it up to use it to open the camera app. So whenever I click and hold on it, it just opens up the camera application, which is a great way for me to quickly snap a picture from the cameras of this phone. Now, of course, if you're willing to go out of your way and set up a complex Siri shortcut or an accessibility setting to set up it to do something, you know, more customizable, it's great. But I guess I shouldn't be dissing Apple on this because it is still a step towards the right direction, providing more customization and flexibility to iOS users right now and in the future. Takeaway is performance. This year's new latest Pro iPhones get the new A17 Pro chip, which I have to say it has really blown my mind so far. Now see, the Pro iPhones never really used to lag given that iOS is so well optimized in itself and the chips are more than powerful enough. But this time around, this thing is packing some really big power. Of course, day-to-day usage for me in the past 2 weeks has been exemplary. There have been no lags and I have enjoyed using the phone with multitasking and all of those things. But iOS has actually partnered up with a lot of console level developers like Capcom and others that have released full-blown console quality games like Resident Evil Village, with others on the way that you can play directly on this phone with console level graphics. Hell, you can connect it up to a monitor using the Type-C and use a wireless controller to get a true console-like gaming experience, all running natively on the iPhones, which I think is a huge step up in the right direction for smartphone gaming in general. This was really cool to see and something that genuinely impressed me. The sixth and the most important takeaway, I would say, are the cameras. Now see, this year's iPhone 15 Pro has a lot of improvements in the cameras. First off, in the Pro Max, you get a new 5x telephoto. Of course, the primary sensor is a 48 megapixel sensor that can shoot in ProRAW Max at 48 megapixels if you wanted to and edit it later. The normal photos are now 24 megapixels instead of 12, which means they are packing a little more detail that can be seen when you do zoom ins of shots or you take low light photos. Also, the 5x telephoto gives a new perspective that we have had for a while on the Android side right now, thanks to the likes of S23 and S22 Ultras, but it is a good step in the direction for iOS users who haven't had any telephoto action over 3x in the past. A big change this time around is the fact that these phones can now record in 4K 60 FPS in ProRes log format, which is incredible for videographers and content creators. So for photographers, content creators and videographers, this is really finally a pro feature that the iPhone 15 Pro series can live up to. And finally guys, the seventh key takeaway from today's video is the price of this bad boy. Now see, I would recommend this phone for anybody who wants to get a very nice phone that they can use as a secondary camera if your primary job involves being a videographer or a content creator or even a photographer, because the cameras on this is really insane. But I know that a lot of other people who don't use the cameras as much will also be looking to get this phone, whether it is about the status symbol that it is acquainted with in our country, or with the fact that some people just want the latest and greatest iPhone and they are tied into the ecosystem. I would highly urge all of you to try to get this phone outside of our country, India. If you can pick it up from the States or you can pick it up from the UAE, I'm sure the pricing will be very worth it for what this phone aims to be, because the pricing in India, which is more than 1.5 lakhs, 1.6 lakhs here, is absolutely crazy, even considering how good this phone is. With that said guys, these were my 7 impressions and 7 key takeaways as an hardcore full-time Android user who has recently switched to the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Don't worry, I'm not gonna make this my primary phone for a long time. I'm just using it on the side to test it out and make videos for you guys. Personally speaking, I'm still an Android guy through and through, but you can expect a lot more videos on this phone, including a review that should be coming. I want to use it for at least a month before I drop my detailed review on it, and hence this impressions video to keep you guys happy till that time happens. With that said, this is Anubhav signing out. Be sure to check out UPDF from the link in the description below, and a huge shout out to them for sponsoring today's video. I will see you guys next time. You guys have a great day, stay safe, and peace out. Bye-bye.